Do you ever wonder when you're walking on the beach, in the sand, salty air in your face, why you feel so good? Or maybe you're in the mountains and you have that fresh mountain air. I'm telling you, it's more than just getting a little R&R and getting away from that daily grind of life and work and family and kids and all the things that might stress you out. You were probably grounding and didn't even realize the benefits. You didn't know that you were reducing your stress, that you were getting better sleep, that you were lowering your blood pressure, that your overall health was just better because of grounding. In fact, grounding is one of the most overlooked biohacks. It's the most simple to do, takes the least amount of time, and yet we're not doing it on a daily basis. This is where you start grounding for your health. I'm Matt Russell, the founder of Secret Biohacks, and today we're going to talk about why grounding is such a great biohack, how people all over the world are grounding, and then I'm going to introduce some products to help you stay grounded day and night. And if you're not familiar with what biohack is or what that term means, it's okay. A biohack is just a shortcut to improve your life, your health, your lifestyle through an understanding of how physics and energy interact with biology and how it supports biology. Humans are electrically conductive beings, and as many of you have heard me say in my previous talks and videos, and if you've seen me out, is that we are physics before we're biology. And what that really means is that our pre-programming, our education system teaches us all the way down to atoms and then the components of an atom, and that's pretty much where it stops. But before anything ever had physical, weighable mass, it started way further back as energy. And that energy was energy particles vibrating at different frequencies. And as those came together, those frequencies determined their physical characteristics and properties that turned into physical matter that then became living organisms and the biology of who we are today and how we walk this earth. And so when I say we're physics before biology, that is just a representation of we are energy before we ever become physical mass. And one of the most important things to remember in grounding is that we are always taking care of our physical selves and our physical bodies, and we're not paying attention or giving any mind to our electrical bodies and how we work electrically. And that's really where it begins. So it's important to go all the way back, and that's why grounding is such a great biohack. So grounding is just the literal act of taking your body and touching it to the earth, and you are discharging the negative ions, the negative, and getting the electrons out of your body. And one of the things that we need to think about is that the sun is an energy source and it fills us with life, and it also fills the earth with energy. And think of the earth as a giant battery. It's absorbing that energy. We're also absorbing that energy, but sometimes we're absorbing too much of that energy. It's getting built up and we have to discharge it because it's creating a negative charge in our body. And so the way we do that is by literally touching the earth, and that discharges it instantaneously. And there are actual physiological changes that you can witness through that. And some of those, for example, would be if you were to take a drop of blood and look at it under a slide, you would see that it's all clumped together and looks a little disorganized. And then if you went outside and just touched the earth and grounded yourself and discharged that negative energy, and then poked yourself again with a drop of blood put under a slide, it would look completely different. It would be organized. It would be pulled apart. You're going to notice the viscosity of your blood looks totally different. It's going to feel different. You're going to feel more relaxed, more calm. A lot of things will happen physiologically speaking that you may not realize because we're not really listening to it and don't realize that touching the earth has such a profound impact on us. Another way to think about it too is that our pH is very, very important to our health and to our bodies. pH stands for potential hydrogen, but it's really the electrical charge of our body, and it decides if we're more acidic or more alkaline. So the lower our pH is, the more acidic we are. And the more acidic we are, the more unhealthy we are, the more disease riddles our body, and the more things are unpleasant for how we feel physically. The more alkaline we feel more healthy, we have much more oxygen flowing through our body. And so the way we regulate pH, and we can get into that in our other videos when we do it at depth, but regulating pH comes from breathing. So grounding and breathing go together very well, because the more you breathe and you build that oxygen in your body, that is your body's ability to get rid of carbon dioxide being a negatively charged ion that makes us more acidic. Similar to like when we go and work out really hard, we need a cool down period to blow off all that CO2, get that lactic acid out of our body and bring our pH back up to a more alkaline state so that we maintain our health. The other thing you'll notice when you maintain your pH and you're grounded and you have discharged that negative electric charge that's built up in your body is that your stress level comes down. You feel more calm. You get better sleep at night, you feel more relaxed, your blood pressure actually lowers. These are all physiological signs that are directly tied to grounding and taking care of our electrophysio being. The other thing too that you'll notice is that when you're grounded, you're connected to what's called the circadian rhythm of the earth, which is the Schumann resonance, 7.83 hertz. That is literally the heartbeat of the earth. And when you're connected to that, your body, as that conductor, is in harmony with the earth. And when you pull it away from that, you miss out on a lot of great health benefits and it throws off your body's natural ability to regulate itself. The proof in this lies in, have you ever felt jet lagged after a flight? I think we've all been there before. And one of the main things is you are literally pulled away from the earth. You're away from the Schumann resonance. You're away from the earth's conductivity. And now you are building up those negative charges. There's nowhere to discharge that energy. And by the time you land, you're in a different locale. There is a different frequency there. There's a different energy there that you are no longer connected to. And so one of the ways to deal with jet lag is to immediately, when you get off the plane, get outside and touch the earth and get grounded to wherever you are. And you're going to notice that right away, your jet lag decreases. The length of time that you feel irritable or brain fog or sleepy or just not back to your normal self, which, can take 24 to 36 hours sometimes, it will go away very quickly. So grounding is a great hack for post-flight. Once you get off a flight, it's a great way to take care of that. So besides just touching the bare earth with your skin, there's products available that will help you stay grounded. And so the first product we're going to talk about is a grounding mat. And there's also a thing called a PEMF mat, which is pulseless electromagnetic frequency mat. And so they're a little bit different, but they're also very similar. And so the first one we're going to talk about is a grounding mat. And this grounding mat is actually a small one, and this is designed for desk application use, office use. And you can put this under your keyboard. You can use it as a mouse pad. But when you're touching this and in contact with it, it's going to keep you grounded. And the way it does that is through this little electrode, and it snaps right on here. And then on the other end, there's a cord, and it plugs right into any wall outlet. And so the great thing about this wall outlet is you can't put it in the wrong slot. It goes in the ground slot. And I'll show you an electrical cord here. You've got 3 prongs, and one of the prongs is round and it's a little bit longer, and that is your ground. And it's your ground circuit. And every electrical system everywhere is connected with these, and it has to be grounded. And the reason it's required to have a ground is so that you don't get an electrical arc and it becomes a fire hazard if you have arcing electricity. So all this is doing, you're not getting any electrical current at all. It's literally discharging it right from that ground. And so that's very similar to how a PEMF mat works also, except that does connect to electricity, and that actually creates an electromagnetic field around you. And that's more focused for an anti-inflammatory pain reliever with also the effects of grounding. So you get kind of both at the same time. Now, the price range between those two is significant. A grounding mat, you can get a bigger one that you sleep on. You can get one that you just stand on. You can have one at your desk, and the prices are kind of vary accordingly, versus a PEMF mat is much more expensive. You're getting into the hundreds of dollars to get a PEMF mat. So a simple grounding mat is all you really need if you don't have access to getting out every single day, multiple times a day, and discharging your energy into the earth. So another option for you too is called a grounding sheet. Now this is something that I used in my life for several months. So I gave up my super nice, fancy cotton soft sheets that felt so good. And I went to this, and this particular sheet has metal woven into it. And so it's not nearly as soft as what I was normally sleeping on. I didn't really care for it. And I went several months convincing myself that it was worth it. But then I decided, comfort plays a factor in sleep too. And so I ended up switching away from this. And it connects the same as the grounding mat. It has a cord. It has a plug that plugs right into the wall, and it has a little electrode that snaps in, and it's a very long cord, so you can find an outlet anywhere. And so it's another way to stay grounded while you're sleeping. But I found, for me, I was better off grounding in the morning right when I wake up, when I do my breath work. It was a better experience for me. And so I switched to linen. And so a side note about linen sheets is that they have a very, very high frequency. So when you're talking about linen, they resonate at a frequency between 5,000 and 8,000 hertz. And so the higher something resonates and the higher something things vibrate, it's better for your health. It introduces better energy to your body. Like I said, we don't spend really any time taking care of the energy side of our body. We're always chasing symptoms and treating the physiological manifestation of those energy issues. So if you kind of go back to the basics, the physics before biology, you're going to find that you have better health that comes to you much easier. And so by switching to linen, I've noticed a much better benefit to my sleep at night. And that would be, versus something like cotton. And cotton resonates between 65 and 80 hertz, which is still less than the human body. But when you talk about health and how that works, hospitals historically always use linen sheets for their patients, always. And people will get better. But the introduction of modern medicine in the early 1900s started phasing those out. And by the mid 1900s, they had phased it out completely and they no longer use linen. Now, you'll read that this was because of cleanliness, and this was because you could use higher temperatures to clean things, and it was cheaper costs and whatever else. But truly now they use completely unnatural man-made fibers like polyester. And when you learn about the vibration, the frequency of polyester, it's about 15 hertz, which matches a dead body. So I don't know if that's just a coincidence, but it's something that's gee whiz enough to even think about. Another great way to experience the effects of grounding is with your pets, with your animals, with your horses. And we've all experienced this. We've pet our dog. We've felt what that felt like. And not only did we feel the compassion, the joy, the love that they bring into our lives, but they're also grounded. They don't wear shoes, and so they're connected to the earth. And so when we touch them, we discharge into them the same way when we touch the earth, and it goes through them right into the earth. So it's another way that we stay connected. Nobody's ever ridden a horse and felt like, boy, I don't feel good after riding a horse, maybe a little bit sore, but you feel good, but you're also grounded the entire time you're riding a horse. I mean, these are common sense things that we're just not thinking about, but it's a great way to really level up your health through grounding. And it's easy to make incremental changes in your health. So if you start with these steps and you keep adding on these small incremental things, grounding's a great one, breathwork's a great one, getting sunshine, there's so many little incremental things, and you can start doing this. But the best part about it is that you can grab a loved one, take somebody that you care about with you on your health journey, and have both of you experience this. And if you're enjoying the content of Secret Biohacks and the information we share here, please like the video, subscribe so you get the next one, tap the bell so you get a notification when the next video is released. And we appreciate you coming in.